There are said to be four obstacles to the development of this effort. First is laziness. We may come up with 101 excuses. Oh, I don't have time, or it's not the right season, or I've got too many other problems at the moment. We kind of procrastinate. And the second is attachments. Attachment to worldly enjoyment. We have attachment to sense pleasures, sense desire. As I mentioned last week on renunciation, this is one of the obstacles to overcome. And we need to develop our effort to overcome this kind of attachment. When the Buddha was considering, just after his enlightenment, whether he should teach what he had discovered, he said, "My teaching is patisotagami. It goes against the stream." So the stream is sucking us in this direction, but we need to make effort to go in this direction, to go against the stream. Then the third obstacle is what we might call self-disparagement, a lack of confidence that I don't know if I can really make any success out of this practice. It's too difficult. I don't think I can. It's beyond me. And then the last one can be a question of fear, that you don't know, you're worried about what you're getting yourself into here. This is some new teaching and you don't quite know what effect it's going to have on you, and maybe it isn't such a good idea. And so you're apprehensive of what the consequences may be. So we start by working on ourself, within ourself, trying to perfect our own qualities, and then we can move on to working for the benefit of others. And both these require a certain amount of energy. Now, there are four factors, or four kinds of effort. And in the Sutta Samyutta Nikaya, the Buddha says, there is a case where a monk, a disciple of the Noble Ones, keeps his energy aroused for abandoning unskillful mental qualities and taking on skillful mental qualities. He is steadfast, solid in his effort, not shirking his duties. He upholds and exerts his intent. 1. For the sake of the non-arising of evil, unskillful qualities that have not yet arisen. 2. For the sake of the abandoning of evil, unskillful qualities that have arisen. 3. For the sake of the arising of skillful qualities that have not yet arisen. And 4. For the maintenance, non-confusion, increase, development, maintenance of skillful qualities that have arisen. So you have these four kinds of effort. 2 are concerned with unwholesome qualities, 2 are concerned with wholesome qualities. So if we start by looking at the prevention of the arising of unarisen, unwholesome states, states which are unskillful and have not yet arisen. We want to prevent their arising. In particular, we want to prevent the arising of the 5 nivarana, hindrances. Laziness, attachment to sense pleasures particularly. Thirdly, self-disparagement, meaning you don't have enough confidence in yourself. That I'm not capable of making progress. Or maybe I'm not even worthy of trying to make this. And then the fourth one was timidity or fear, that we're kind of not sure whether we really want to get involved in all this, because you're afraid that maybe something bad can happen to you. You know, your mind will be taken over by some cult, and you'll end up committing suicide in a mass conflagration in South America or something.
So those are obstacles to energy, are they?
Yep. These are obstacles to the development of viriya. Yep. First hindrance, sensual desire or sensual pleasure. The seductive nature of different objects which attract our senses, giving rise to desire, to attachment, to craving, to grasping. All this arises because of this first hindrance. You can interpret that in 2 ways. You can say it is, strictly speaking, just material objects which stimulate the senses. But you can also take it in a more abstract way to say that we also get attachments to non-material things like power, fame, popularity, the various things which we can't say directly affect an external sense, but they arise in the mind. The desire for recognition, the desire for wealth, the desire for all sorts of things which we are developing attachment to. The second nivarana is ill will or aversion, hatred or anger, resentment. Third hindrance, thinamidda, sloth and torpor, dullness and drowsiness, and the kind of sinking state of the mind, inclination to fall asleep, and the lack of energy, or lack of life in the mind. The fourth hindrance is kind of the opposite of that. This is restlessness and worry. The mind is full of agitation and excitement, and also leading to states of anxiety, worry. There may also be regrets and remorse for things we've done wrong. That's a very energetic state of the mind. And then the fifth hindrance is doubt. to be overcome by investigation, deepening our understanding. The first of these four kinds of effort is to prevent the arising of unarisen, unwholesome states, particularly these 5 nivarana. Then, well, to do that, we need to develop qualities such as mindfulness and clear understanding, sati and sampajanya. Then, the second kind of effort is to abandon arisen, unwholesome states. So when the first effort has failed, and we recognize that unwholesome states have developed in the mind, we need to deal with those, and there are 5 techniques. The first is to expel the unwholesome thought with a wholesome thought. This is analogous to a carpenter getting a new peg, and he bangs it into the hole and expels the old peg. So we directly confront this unwholesome thought by developing an opposite to it. Then examples would be, if the unwholesome thought is based on sense desire, then we should meditate on impermanence. When we see impermanence, we realize that sense desire is really pointless. When there's ill will, second nivarana, then we can develop loving kindness, metta. When there is thina and middha, dullness, sloth and torpor, we need to develop energy, such as imagining in the mind there's a very bright light, or getting up and doing some walking, or making a strong determination that you're going to overcome this. When there is restlessness and worry in the mind, then a practice like mindfulness of breathing can help to calm the mind down. And when there is doubt in the mind, we should confront that by investigating what is it that we're doubtful about, trying to deepen our understanding, and that will do away with the doubt. So that was the first form of dealing with the states which have arisen, an unwholesome state. Second thing we can do is to recall 2 qualities, hiri and ottappa, moral shame and moral dread. Moral shame is your own conscience, which we can think about as we think these qualities are beneath me. It's not good for me to develop or to allow to develop some thoughts which are ignoble, base, very negative thoughts. The third method is to divert one's attention. Just refusing to look at this unwholesome quality which has arisen. It's like turning your face away, turning your eyes away so you don't look at it. But the fourth one is the direct opposite of that, which is to look at the negative state, confront it, observe it, and then see that just by watching it, it actually changes, dissipates, and goes away. And the last one, the fifth method, is suppression, which the Buddha likened to the way a strong man seizes a weaker man and holds him down, suppresses him on the ground, just through his own strength and weight. So that's the first two kinds of right effort. It's just after 9. I think we'll probably call a halt here.